Good evening, everyone. I'm greeting you from Honolulu, Hawaii, and thank you very much for this opportunity to present, and thank you for the chairperson for allowing me to share my research called Action Research to Start New Services and Expand Roles for Mongolian Older Adult. So I will be covering introductions and background about Mongolia and the action research that we did and some of the methods and discussions, etc. So I am Uyanga Batzogs. I'm originally from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. My professional background is in business, mostly working in nonprofits. And Dr. Catherine Brown is my dissertation chair, and I'm fourth year student at the University of Hawaii. And in Mongolia, I used to work for Prolian's company, which is a medical equipment distribution company. And I also one of the co-founders of Quality Life nonprofit in Mongolia. So I'll be sharing about these organizations in my presentation. So as we all know, older adult population is increasing throughout the world, and the rapid increase is actually happening in less developing countries. So it's expected to increase by 250% for less developed countries versus about 71% for developed countries. So lack of services for older adults is getting more critical for us to address, and we all need to prepare for it, especially for healthy aging. So my country is a small country with 3 million people. And even before COVID, we had 28% of our people living in under poverty, and our average life expectancy is 69. Even though right now it's only 6% of our population is older adult, it is projected to increase to 19% by 2050. And we currently retire really early at 55 for women. And then after retirement, we really don't have a lot of opportunity to work, and our main income is Social Security pension. So as a small country, but growing an older adult population projected, how do we prepare for aging? So a group of our people got together, and we wanted to start planning on a small scale, and action research is actually an ideal research framework for us because it's really small scale research driven by a real world problem and driven by practitioners. So we started in 2015 with needs assessment, and then that led us to action of creating a pilot senior center. And we also tried creating more job opportunities in 2017. And then we did another research to understand how do we sustain these services, things we started, and again, followed by some other project we did. So I will be sharing a bit more detail in my next slides. So in 2015, we really wanted to learn, what do Mongolian seniors really need? What is their priority? Because none of these services like assisted living, retirement home, things like that did not exist at that time. So we talked to over 400 older adults and asked different questions. And what was your best ranking for these 9 services? And then are you able or willing to pay for services? And what are your main concerns? So again, we are very thankful that a lot of people really well participated in our survey, and majority of people lived with their families, and only 18% worked after retirement, and majority spent their time taking care of their grandchildren. So, among the 9 service types, retirement community, assisted living was high, but then what was very surprising was just place to socialize. Our senior center was something they really needed. And also another factor was that even though service was needed, they really couldn't pay for the services. And then also among the concerns, low income, not being able to have adequate income after retirement was a key concern for them. So after the research, we learned that we couldn't do it as a business, and government couldn't provide that at that time. So we piloted a nonprofit called Quality Life, and we started a senior center in Mongolia. And we received in-kind support from Prolian's company, and we partnered with local government so that they provided the facility and we brought in the personnel to run this. And again, people who came to our senior center were very highly educated professionals who used to be doctors and lawyers, and they loved, having participation in learning about basic English, doing exercise and doing crafts and playing board games. And for the 3-year pilot program, we had over 150 seniors participating. But again, sustainability has always been a challenge. So because the low income was a big, concern for us, we wanted to provide some employment opportunities. So in 2017 and 18, we collaborated with a commercial laundry. We actually launched a new business so that we can hire older adults to do, basic laundry through highly, good equipment. And then we also did a board game cafe where older adults taught games to a younger generation. And we also partnered with the government so that we paid a small stipend to over 70 seniors, so they got a temporary job in a local community. And we did other small things to be able to sustain the NGO through grants from East West Center and private donations, and doing some fee-for-service examples. So, and then we followed with another research. Okay, so how do low-income country develop or sustain a senior center with a very limited resource? Again, we don't collect money from the seniors directly. It's all through volunteers. And so we talked to the seniors who participated. We talked to the board members and volunteers and people who really came to help us to do this pilot senior center. So what we learned from that research was seniors really came to us to avoid loneliness and to learn something new. And they really liked playing a board game. And then barriers to participation was, very limited location. We only had a couple locations available at that time. And then they also reported that the benefit of coming to senior center was they experienced a better health and they had a more social engagement. But for the sustainability, to make it more available for others, we really needed to have champions and supporters, and also show that this senior center is not only beneficial for the seniors, but it's really beneficial for the whole society, was a key thing we learned from that research. But again, as I mentioned, that sustainability of this pilot senior center has been always a challenge, but it's been going. So discussion is, Mongolian older adults really need all types of services, but they're not able to pay directly themselves. So we really need to, wanted to pilot, is it possible? Yes, it is possible to do innovative low-cost program, but we need to also learn about other services. But as far as creating jobs for seniors, collaborating with the business was more sustainable. When it's a grant-funded government aid, after the grant was over, it was pretty much did not sustain itself afterward. But the main thing is older adults are being underutilized asset, and we really need to expand their roles. So our next action is we're really hoping to have more opportunities with social enterprise, where we expand our older adults' roles to start and sustain the services themselves, but also sharing about other innovative and lower cost program models. So again, thank you very much for this conference and opportunity to share about what we're doing in Mongolia. Thank you.